All right, and we're live. Okay, cool, and we're live. Baba Yaga, if you're there, just let me know in the chat, just so I know I've got someone to talk to. Okay, let's get this up. Well, yeah, yeah, the last fight was good. Alvi versus Jung. That was a draw. I think a good decision, split to draw. That was a good decision. Young really need to finish that. Like, he needs to be more active and just take his opportunities and just smash the fuck out of Alvi when he had the opportunity. So he had him against the cage multiple times, had him rocked a couple of times. But anyway, moving on to Oliveira versus Rakhmonov. Here comes Oliveira, looking very confident, as a seasoned veteran would. I wonder how he thinks he's going to do against Rakhmonov, because Rakhmonov is a very good guy, a very good fighter, former M1 champion, welterweight. Very decent MMA game, very well rounded. A lot of these guys from Central Asia are coming up. They're very good with sambo, the wrestling, judo. A lot of decent kickboxers coming up. Like Central Asia is not an area that we think about for fighters necessarily, but they do have like big fighting traditions, like with Karash wrestling, sambo wrestling, kickboxing. And they're generally pretty rough kind of people. Like life is not easy in these places. In Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, these kind of places, these mountain countries, the people are tough, and there's a fighting mentality there. And we're just starting to see all these people come through. And in the M1 Championship is a big organization. I think it might be Russian, but I think they take fighters from all over Central Asia, and that's a big organization with a lot of talent, and a lot of those guys in M1 are UFC ready, and Rakhmonov is one of those guys. So one thing I really like about Oliveira, fights really well at range. He's got beautiful front kicks straight up the middle to the midsection of his opponents. That's his best weapon, in my opinion, because it knocks the air out of you. It just saps your energy. He's also got good middle kicks, good low kicks. I mean, to be fair, everyone nowadays has good low kicks, good calf kicks. Everyone has that. Oliveira's striking is decent, limited by the lack of volume. And my concern for him is if he goes to decision, he's probably going to lose the fight because he's losing on points. If you want to win a decision, you need to be landing a lot. Oliveira doesn't really do that. That said, we don't have the stats for Shavkat because he's a newcomer to the UFC. So we'll see his striking output. But based on his previous fights I've seen, his output is higher. So, Baba Yaga, if you're there, just let me know in the chat. For me, this is one of the best fights on the card, I think. I'm curious to see how the ground games are going to match up. Oliveira's a decent grappler, jiu-jitsu kind of base. He's got the better of some decent ground in the UFC, but it's not world class, but it's certainly decent. I'm just curious to see how it's going to match up with the sambo style of Rakhmonov. Typically an aggressive, top-heavy wrestling style from Central Asia using sambo typically beats jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, I'll say as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, jiu-jitsu does have its shortcomings, I'm afraid to say, because you can just end up getting mauled by a heavy top wrestler. Okay, here we go. Oh, that was nice by Oliveira. Very nice. But you see, it was only one shot. Had he followed up with a couple of combinations, he could, rack up the points and be winning by decision here. Oliveira's very light on his feet, which is nice. Yeah, it's a nice jab. That one didn't land, but you can see it's a nice jab, and it's disguised by that bouncy footwork coming in and out. Rakhmonov looking a little bit hesitant here. He's controlling the octagon so far. Nice leg kick. People criticize Oliveira's cardio. I don't think that's quite fair. To me, he looks pretty decent in all 3 rounds. Rakhmonov going for, oh, fuck me. Oh, see, there's that power. I think that all started with a knee. You see that power? Yeah, we talked about this in the fight prediction. There's just a natural power there, which is strange because he's such a slim guy. But you can see how easily Rakhmonov can finish this fight. All right, so they're in the clinch now. Let's see who's the stronger guy here. Curious to see how this is going to play out on the ground. So being the taller guy, Rakhmonov's got the advantage here in the clinch. Or he should do. It's not looking too good here for him. Oliveira trying to get the trip there, trying to take it to the ground. Don't know if that's the best idea. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Oliveira definitely winning the clinch game at the moment. Yes, Oliveira going pretty hard for the takedown here. And DC there saying that the Oliveira's cardio fades. I think that's a bit harsh. So, I mean, Oliveira's definitely winning the clinch game here. But he's tried to go for a takedown a couple of times, and it's just not working. His leg. If he can hook his hands across, and he's connected his hands. Oh, no, he's broken those hands. So that's the 3rd time he's gone for the takedown, and it's not happened. Oh, here we go, submission attempt, jumping into a guillotine. I don't know how tight this is. Oh, fuck me, there we go. Absolutely, there we go. See, he's dangerous everywhere. He is dangerous everywhere. I mean, to have the confidence to just jump into a guillotine with somebody on top of your MMA requires a pretty sophisticated submission game. That's not the only time he's done that in M1 as well. Yeah, very good indeed. Yeah, very good. So I think this guy is a potential contender, potential ranked guy. Very good. Oh, oof, yeah, that was nice. Nice knees. Yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. The guillotine looks like a very straightforward thing to do when you see it like that. It's actually pretty difficult to get the leverage and to really sink it in. Nice hat. Good stuff. Well, I'm going to get some water and a coffee, and I'll be right back. In hindsight, yeah, we could have said Alvarez, and they didn't include him. In hindsight, you could have said Jung. A lot of people were saying Jung rather. Turned out to be a draw. I had my reservations about him. So in my accumulators, who have I got? Got in the safe come. I've got Magomed Ankalaev and Khabib Nurmagomedov. That doesn't get a whole lot in returns. I think those are relatively safe. But I'm also hedging that with a very small bet on a Justin Gaethje finish. For the less safe risky accumulator, I've got Shavkat and Alexander Volkov. Shavkat has already won, so we're waiting on Volkov for the other one. I've also got an independent bet on Nathaniel Wood, because I think that's more of a 50-50 fight. Casey Kenny is a favourite against Nathaniel Wood. Don't really see why that's the case, personally. So I think there's value on Nathaniel Wood. But we'll see, and that's it. So the comes this time, I've only got two each in them. I'm not betting on Whitaker or Cannonier. I think that's really close. Although I think Whitaker probably takes that. I know you're looking at Taito Avasa versus Stefan Struve. I didn't have time to research that one, unfortunately. But then again, I don't know if I'd even have an opinion on that, because these heavyweight fights, especially at the lower levels, they're difficult. They're difficult to call, especially with Stefan Struve, whose record is very patchy and declining. And Taito Avasa, who's on a three fight loss streak. But then again, Taito Avasa has been training at ATT with Daniel Cormier, Khabib, and all the other killers at that camp. So maybe that's changed his game round. I'll be looking closely to see whether he's made any improvements. Because, typically what he does, he just stands and bangs, right? And you can't really, even at heavyweight, and the quality at heavyweight is not good, but you can't do that against ranked opponents in the UFC. You can do that on the regional circuit. You can just be a big guy with just a solid 1-2, and you can knock guys out, and suddenly you're a professional MMA fighter. But you can't be doing that in the UFC. I wish I could point the camera at the fight or share screen at the fight. I can't do that's illegal, man. Unfortunately, might get in trouble if I do that. Unfortunately, I'll tell you what though. Don't tell anybody, but go to ripple.is. I'm not telling you why. Not telling you why, but just go to ripple.is. For no reason. Absolutely no reason. Just yeah, there's a lot of stuff with Abdul Manap. Yeah, the UFC is what's the word? Celebrating his life quite a lot, which is understandable. A huge part in Khabib's life and career. He's a very experienced wrestling and MMA coach in Dagestan. He's brought a lot of guys from that region to the forefront, and he's probably responsible for getting a lot of these Dagestanis into the UFC. This whole new wave of Dagestanis coming to the UFC, which kind of precipitated people from Chechnya as well. I think that opened the door up for guys like Kamzat from Chechnya, these other semi-independent regions in Russia as well, like what's the other one? Ingushetia, and also other countries in the Caucasus. It kind of opened up a lot of doors there. So if you go back like 3, 4, 5 years, it was very rare to see these Central Asians. It was mostly Americans and Brazilians, but, with a few Brits, maybe a couple of Russians, but not a whole lot else. And we've kind of seen the dominance shift from Brazilians and Americans to, other countries now. Yeah, Gambit Murdoch. I don't know why you're thanking me. I don't know why you're thanking me. Who have you guys got for Khabib versus Gaethje? I'll be curious to know. I've got Khabib in my safe come accumulator, obviously because it's Khabib. I do think there's an outside chance that Justin can hurt him on the feet, just because everything he throws has power, and I don't think he's fought a guy with that kind of power, where just everything, even a jab, just hurts. There are some guys, just a jab hurts. You know, most guys when they jab you, you just shake it off. It doesn't bother you. But whenever Justin Gaethje touches you, it hurts. And I don't know how Khabib is going to respond to that. I mean, we saw what Justin Gaethje did to Tony Ferguson, and Tony Ferguson is a legitimately tough guy. That guy is an animal, and Justin Gaethje broke him. He broke him. Waleed, are you there? Oh, so Nathaniel Wood versus Casey Kenny. Yeah, I've got Nathaniel Wood as an independent bet, basically because I think this is more of a 50-50 fight. Casey Kenny's good. He just hasn't had the dominant performances, like the massively dominant performances that you would expect with such a big favorite. Let's just check the odds for the Casey Kenny fights. See. Yes, Casey Kenny is a minus 162 favorite, which I think is a little optimistic. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm English. Nathaniel Wood is English, and Nathaniel Wood is a decent prospect. We've got a lot of fighters in the UFC, like really quite a lot, but none that are particularly high level. We've got Leon Edwards, who's a proper elite fighter, who's just incidentally been dropped out of the rankings under very mysterious circumstances. I think Dana White is done and dirty there. He's trying to make a point, obviously. Yeah, so we've got Leon Edwards, but beyond that, there's not a whole load of top-level fighters from the UK. Waleed is telling me he loves this song, but then he's got terrible taste in music. Sorry, Waleed. So Casey Kenny is a 9-time USA national judo champion. That's interesting. It's not necessarily that significant for MMA because judo only works when you're wearing a dressing gown. In effect, you require those grips mostly. But I do think there's some opportunity for judo trips. So when you're up close in the pocket, you're in the clinch. Judo throws and trips are pretty valuable. I mean, Ronda Rousey made an entire career in the UFC on the back of judo. There's our boy. Yeah, former Cage Warriors champion Nathaniel Wood. Being a Cage Warriors champion, that means something. That really means something. Because there are some decent veteran fighters in Cage Warriors. He's 17-4. That is a decent record for someone so young. Yeah, he's 27 with a 17-4 record. So he's been busy. Yeah, so he's got a couple of submission victories against Andre Ewell. That's a good victory. Submission victory against Jose Alberto Quinones. He's not a great fighter. Got finished by John Dodson, a veteran. It's not a bad loss. And a decision win against John Castaneda. Oh, and a Darce choke against Johnny Eduardo. So, I mean, these are not the biggest names. So I think the UFC is giving him relatively easy fights, trying to build him up, which is the right thing to do with a young talent, because you don't want to rush these people. You don't want to feed these guys to the lions. Okay, here we go. I'll be curious to see how the ground game works out here. Casey Kenny should have the advantage, you think? Oh, no. Oof. See, nice combinations there from Nathaniel Wood. Nice double jab. Yeah, the speed and power there from Nathaniel Wood. Nice kicks from Casey Kenny, but he needs to do more with his hands. Casey Kenny has a low striking output, which is to his detriment. Oh, nice. Oh, there. Oof. Oof, that was a heavy leg kick from Nathaniel Wood. Another one. And for another inside leg kick from Nathaniel Wood. Another one. Followed up by a left hook from Nathaniel Wood. Just trading kicks. Oof. I can't even keep up with this commentary. There's so much happening. But Nathaniel Wood threw a really nice counter left hook there. Nathaniel Wood is hammering those inside leg kicks. So much output. See, that was that counter left hook there from Nathaniel Wood again. I mean, this is the power of output and volume, just pushing the pace, because you can just overwhelm your opponent. That's a hell of a lot to deal with if you're Casey Kenny. Really nice head movement from Nathaniel Wood. You can see the difference in striking ability there. Casey Kenny is just not quite as sharp. Oh, really nice right hand from Nathaniel Wood. That was hard. You see what I mean about Casey Kenny being a favourite? Doesn't quite make sense. That was a nice shot from Casey Kenny, though. Yeah, you see what I mean about Casey Kenny being a favourite. Didn't quite make sense to me. And you see how fast Nathaniel Wood is with those hands. I hope he just hasn't tired himself out. See, 37-20. Yeah, Wood landing a lot more. Although Casey Kenny's he's finding his moments now. I suspect Nathaniel Wood's tired himself out a little bit here because that was a very active couple of minutes. Oof, Casey Kenny is landing some hard shots here. I want Nathaniel Wood to win because he's English, and I think he's got the potential to go far. He's getting caught there though with Casey Kenny's rear hand. He's getting caught. Haven't seen any grappling yet. I wonder if that's because Casey Kenny thinks he's got an advantage on the feet, or maybe he's a little cautious of Nathaniel Wood's ground game. Because Nathaniel Wood does have submissions on his record. So yeah, what Waleed is saying, this is very fast paced. Do it for the Queen. I'm sure she's watching this. What else is Waleed saying? They're both going to be very tired in round 2 and 3. Yeah, definitely. Probably Nathaniel Wood more so, I'd say. Yeah, this is a crazy output. I don't know who to score that round to. I don't know who won that round. Very, very competitive. Nathaniel Wood probably won the first half of the round. I suspect Casey Kenny took the second half of the round. I don't know how you score that. But Nathaniel Wood probably landed more. But Casey Kenny did land some heavy shots. Waleed, aka Alexander, is saying, where's Casey from? Is he Carshalton in the south of England? I know where Carshalton is, and we're both from the south of England. So it just shows how little we know. But yeah, I mean, good round from both guys. They're both good fighters. I wish I had that hand speed, man. This is a good fight. Oh. Yeah, Nathaniel Wood is aggressive. He's got nice combinations. But I think Casey Kenny has a slightly heavier hands. Wood needs to keep chopping the legs. Yep, that would be a good idea. But these guys are really going for it. This is a proper scrap. Nice shot from Kenny there. So they're even on in terms of strikes, which indicates that Casey is taking over. That wasn't much of a takedown attempt from Kenny. Could be fight of the night, yeah, could be. Oh, nice left hand from Wood. But you see the power difference. Nathaniel Wood doesn't hit that hard. Yeah, I think you can see Casey Kenny just taking over here. But I would say that technically Nathaniel Wood is better on the feet. Yeah, Nathaniel Wood slowed down here midway through the second round. This is the thing, when you're 26, you're full of energy and aggression, and you don't necessarily know how to control yourself. So Nathaniel Wood is swinging that left hook as Kenny comes in. He's not really landing it. I feel like Kenny's getting the better of these exchanges. I think he's just landing more cleanly. And he's throwing more shots, he's throwing combinations. Wally, who do you think's got this? Oh, let's have a look. So Wood has outlanded Kenny in the second round. That's interesting. Yeah, so maybe Wood is 2 rounds up here. It's strange, but when you watch a fight, obviously you can't count all the punches, and it's often surprising when you actually see how many strikes are landed. Which is why MMA fights are so difficult to score. But it looks to me, what happened there? I don't know if that was a slip, but anyway, looking at this second round, I'll say Casey Kenny is winning. But according to the stats, Nathaniel Wood is winning. So Wally says, I think Kenny is up, probably. Nice kicks. Yeah, I mean, looking at the fight, I would say Kenny is probably up. But the stats say otherwise. Kenny doesn't look too tired. So Casey Kenny's a wrestler at collegiate level. And one advantage he's got is that you get used to the grind when you're wrestling. You have to continue when you're exhausted, and you get used to fighting when you're exhausted. That's one advantage he's got. You just keep going. Yeah, I think it is close for lead. But either way, even if Nathaniel Wood loses, he is a serious prospect. He's only 26, still improving big time. Yeah, Casey Kenny hasn't shown any wrestling here at all, which tells me that he really respects Nathaniel Wood's ground game. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I think my stream was a few seconds behind. Yeah. Yes, this is what we wanted to see. How does the grappling compare? Here's the wrestling pedigree coming to the fore for Kenny. Oh, that was nice. What was that? Yeah, well, we have no wrestling schools in the UK, barely any. Yeah, we don't learn wrestling at all, unless you go to one of the bigger MMA schools like Shoot Fighters in London, or what's your one, Waleed? London Fight Factory in East London. You can do wrestling there, you can do Sambo. Waleed will tell you more about that. But it's very difficult to learn wrestling in the UK, very difficult. The closest you'll get is no-gi grappling, no-gi jiu-jitsu, which is very decent, but it's not quite the same. Yeah, LFF. That's the one of the big schools in. Well, he stuffed that takedown, so. Oh, that was a big left hand from Casey Kenny. Yeah, well, I think this could go either way. I honestly don't know. So on strikes, Wood probably wins the first two rounds. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Yeah, Wood is up on strikes. Casey Kenny did control Wood, but how much damage did he do? I don't think he did any damage. Casey Kenny thinks he's won. Oh, they both think they've won. Awkward. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. So Nathaniel Wood massively outstruck Casey Kenny. It's those leg kicks. Yeah. So Nathaniel Wood probably takes it. But scoring fights is such a weird thing. I mean, it could be a draw, Waleed, yeah. But scoring fights is such a weird thing because the way MMA is scored is kind of arbitrary. Someone's got to come up with ways to score these fights. But do you do it on strikes landed? You know, is it octagon control? Is it how heavy the punches are? in the UFC is basically volume, octagon control, and something else. It's something else probably related to the ground game, takedowns. But they don't take into consideration how hard the shots are. They focus on volume, but not how heavy the shots are. So you could, pitter patter someone on the face 100 times, but if you're not hurting them, what's the point? Whereas you could crack somebody hard really once and, break their orbital bone. Well, we've got 6 viewers, man. This is kicking off. Yeah, we're trying to get Waleed to do. The problem with doing this on YouTube, we can't get Waleed involved because we can't. Waleed could just do it by himself. Oh wait, let's see this. To be fair, the optics, as they call it, went to Casey Kenny, and this is where the stats don't necessarily tell the story of the fight. But scoring MMA is hard. It's really hard. Waleed, was that a bad decision, do you think? Yeah, as I was saying before, we'll try and figure out some kind of platform to get Waleed in on this so we can do it together and just chat shit. But as it is, with a YouTube live stream, you can only do one person at a time, which kind of sucks. But going forward, what we could do is I could go around to Waleed's place. We'll do it from his living room. We'll have a few drinks. We'll get battered, and we'll just do it together. All right, who have we got next? Baba Yaga, here we go. Stefan Struve versus Tai Tuivasa. I've got opinions about the UFC heavyweight quality. I don't think it's quality whatsoever. I think it's very poor quality. It seems like anybody who's 6'4" and 250 pounds can fight in the UFC heavyweight division. If you train like for 2 years in some kind of striking or jiu-jitsu, you could probably enter the UFC. Like the benchmark for getting into the UFC as a heavyweight is so low. It's ridiculous. But the interesting thing is Tai Tuivasa has been training ATT with Khabib, Daniel Cormier, and all those Dagestani killers. And that's an excellent MMA gym. So maybe he's learned something. Maybe we'll see some improvements in his striking, and you'd expect to see some improvements in his grappling, because that's a very grappling heavy gym. Stefan Struve, I don't know a lot about Stefan Struve other than he's 7 foot tall and doesn't use his range to his advantage, which is ridiculous. I know he's been knocked out a lot by much shorter guys. He got knocked out by Mark Hunt, who is 5'10". Credit to Mark Hunt for being able to close that distance against a 7 foot tall man. That's crazy. But to Stefan Struve's credit, he beat Stipe Miocic. I think that was probably almost a decade ago or something. Stefan Struve was on a bit more of a roll. He seems to be on just a kind of a steady decline in recent years. Guys, who do you think wins this fight, Stefan Struve or Tai Tuivasa? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't, because in heavyweight, where the standard is so poor, it could go either way. Tai Tuivasa has power, but then again, that's not unusual for heavyweight. Everyone has power at heavyweight. I'll be curious to see how Tuivasa deals with the range issue, because if you're literally punching up a foot, to land on someone's chin, that's difficult. That is difficult. So Baba Yaga, as you said, Tai Tuivasa needs to win this. He's on a 3-fight skid. If he loses this, he could be cut. Looks like he's got some anal beads around his neck there. Oh, that's interesting. So because of the pandemic, he's no longer at ATT. That's not great. So he probably hasn't been there since the beginning of this year. I mean, to be fair, we probably knew that anyway. I am Heisenberg. Hey, bro, how long before the main event? Let me check this. Main event is after this. So I think main event is at 7 p.m. UK time, which is in 24 minutes. That's when the broadcast starts. So 25 minutes. So it'll be some time after that. But you're asking the main event, right? Not the main card. I think the main event will be in about 9 p.m. UK time. So in about 2.5 hours from now. There he is. Let's go to Ivasa. Thanks, bro. I'm hyped for this fight. Yeah, this is a really good card. I mean, Khabib, Gaethje aside, this is a decent card. Like some decent fighters on this one. Let's go to Ivasa. We'll see, Baba Yaga. We'll see. We'll see. He needs to win this one. I mean, these heavyweight fights are always interesting, if not represented. They're not representative of high level MMA, but they're fun to watch. Yeah, so Stefan Struve has got a nearly 10-inch reach advantage. That is nuts. That is nuts. That's like 5 inches on each hand, so about that. I wonder what that flag is. Waleed, what's that flag tied to Ivasa's got? All right, here we go. Tai Tuivasa is still fat. I mean, Stefan Struve is ridiculously tall. I mean,
I'm getting ready to go to Goffs. That's why I've been not talking commenting.
I mean, just the size difference here is crazy. I say size, I mean the height difference. They're the same weight. Christ, that kick was slow. Everything's slower at heavyweight, Waleed. Everything is in slow motion. It's like fighting in a swimming pool. So you can see how tall Stefan Struve is. He's literally a giant. He's got a huge reach advantage, and yet he's not utilizing it. He should be, popping the jab, low kicks, front kicks, teeps, head kicks, and just staying on the outside and just popping Tuivasa from the outside. And he hasn't been doing that. So Tuivasa's just tying him up on the fence in the clinch. I don't know why he's bothering doing this. What's he going to do here? He's the shorter guy, which is never an advantage in the clinch. I mean, this is just pointless. Oh, there we go. So you can see the power from Tuivasa there. If one of those lands, Struve is probably going to sleep. But it's not. I would not call that crisp boxing. That was actually an okay kick, but it's slow. I mean, you can't help it. When you're that long and big, it's going to be slow. But Struve needs to pop the jab, and here we go. I mean, the reason Tuivasa is closing this gap is because Struve is not throwing anything. So on the one hand, Struve is not gaining any respect because he's just not doing anything. He's not giving Tuivasa any problems to worry about. So Tuivasa is just closing the distance. But then again, Tuivasa getting him into the clinch like that is pointless. Yeah, so all the heavyweights are slow apart from Ngannou. That is very true, Waleed. Waleed says, aka Alexander, it would be very funny if he has a small dick. That would be funny. Cade, Krisha, what fight is going on? Yep, Struve versus Tuivasa. Terrible fight, to be honest. Cade, not a lot is going on. I mean, at least Struve is throwing the teep there, but he needs to throw a whole lot more volume. Just keep him at bay. Just pop the jab in his face. Ty's legs are huge. Yeah, they are huge. Ty's kicks are actually okay. His leg kicks are actually pretty quick. I mean, Tai Tuivasa is definitely winning this round. He's just more active. He's doing things. He's pushing the bait. Oh, he landed a right hand there. Oh, an uppercut there in the clinch. Yeah, Tai Tuivasa is definitely winning this round. Oh, he threw him there. Threw him from the clinch. Muay Thai style. Oh, he's teeing off. Oh, man. Oh, fuck me. Tai Tuivasa, you've redeemed yourself. That was nice. You see the power? The power. That's it. The power of a big fat man. To be fair, some of those shots were pretty quick. He had him against the cage. He took his opportunity, saw his chance, and he landed those shots pretty quick and obviously very hard. To be fair, that is a decent finish. So Baba Yaga, you made some money, man. You've made some money. And Tai Tuivasa saved his career in the UFC. Baba Yaga, how about that? I told you his job is on the line. It was. He did what he needed to do today. To be fair, not a bad performance. That was a decent performance. Yeah, not bad, not bad. But I mean, I know I'm very critical of heavyweight fighters, but Tuivasa looked decent there. But to what extent is that because Stefan Struve just didn't do anything? Stefan Struve just did not do anything. I don't know if Struve wanted to be there. I don't know if Struve wants to be fighting. Because I know it wasn't that long ago when he announced his retirement. And then he came back. I do question his commitment to the sport because he just didn't do anything in that fight. You know, you can't turn up to a fight against a professional fighter and not want to be there. You can't be checked out mentally. Otherwise, this happens. Fair play, fair play. Struve just wandering off there. Bobby, I got Ankalaev and Khabib, and I got the bet. Cool. Struve should retire again. Yeah, he should. He should. But a lot of these fighters are not the smartest people in the world. You know, obviously with some exceptions, but most of these fighters are not geniuses. When they retire, most of them, I wonder what they do. You know, it's not like they're going to get office jobs or start a new professional career. And even to go into coaching and that kind of thing, you need to be pretty smart. I mean, Struve does not look like a fighter, does he? Yeah, good effort from Tai Tuivasa. Pretty quick with those combinations, to be fair. Took the opportunity, landed hard. Fair play. He saved his career. Fair play. Just threw him down there. Oof. That's a good finish from Tai Tuivasa. I mean, that's serious power there. All right, so that's the end of the prelims. Next up, we've got Kutalaba. Me and Waleed have got Ankalaev to win. That's in the Cum. Then we've got Lauren Murphy versus Lilia Shakarova. Like, we didn't research that one because we don't love women's MMA, to be honest. Then we've got Jacob Malkoun versus Philip Halls, two very green newcomers. I've seen Jacob Malkoun showcase some decent boxing, some crisp technical boxing. But the issue is his opponents are very low level, and he's only had 4 professional fights. Philip Halls has been on the Contender Series. He's got some finishes. It looks okay. I just don't know that much about him. Then we've got Alexander Volkov versus Walt Harris. That's a great fight. Volkov, big, tall, long guy, has power in his hands. Fights well at range. Really great kicks. A high volume striker. Then you've got Walt Harris, who is just an explosive, powerful beast who can knock you out in the first round. I've put Volkov. Me and Waleed have Volkov in the Cum, in the risky Cum, because Walt Harris needs a finish in the first round, and if he doesn't get that, he's going to tire. Then Volkov takes over. Then we've got Whittaker versus Cannonier, another great fight. Whittaker is a more technical boxer, more technical striker. He's got the better all-round MMA game, but Jared Cannonier has that freakish power, that freakish one-punch KO power. I haven't bet on this because I think it's too close to call, but I think Whittaker takes that maybe 55-60% of the time. Then, of course, we've got Khabib versus Gaethje. Khabib is going in the safe Cum because it's Khabib. We all know what Khabib does. But I've also put a small bet on Justin Gaethje finishing him. But I think Khabib wins that probably. But I think Justin could give him the most difficult fight he's had to date, just because he hits so hard. Everything he throws hurts. Everything. And Khabib may have issues dealing with that power. So, I've got some comments here. I want to see Struve against Volkov. Yeah, 2 tall guys. Volkov would kill him. Honestly, Volkov would kill Struve. He would kill him, honestly. He'd kill him. Because Struve sucks and Volkov is decent. Booty to Alabama. Can someone have a fighting career at the age of 23, or is it too late? No, it's not too late. It depends. If to start training MMA, it's probably too late. Unless you've got some kind of background in a martial art already. But it depends what you want to do. If you want to be a professional and start from scratch at 23, it's going to be very difficult. It depends how big you are. If you're a heavyweight or light heavyweight, you can maybe make it work, and you're absolutely committed to it. Maybe you can make that work, because you still got 7 years until you're 30 when you hit your prime. So maybe it could work for you. Bearing in mind that if you're careful, you could fight until you're 40 or late 30s. So it all depends. You may start at 23 training boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and you may find that when you're 30, you might be pretty decent. Then you've got another near decade for you to put that to use. 23 is young, Bode. It is. Alexander, I have a few burgers and a few beers, mate. Yeah. Baba Yaga, Randy Couture became. Yeah, that's true. Baba Yaga, that's very true. I love Randy Couture.